Welcome back to AM Northwest on this Monday morning. Our next guest is a self-professed Long Island princess couch potato who embarked kicking and screaming on an action-packed cross-country journey in a bus with her outdoor enthusiast husband. She chronicled her adventure, or I should say misadventures, on their cross-country journey. So we welcome this morning the author of Queen of the Road, Dr. Doreen. Good to have you with us.
Thanks so much for having me.
All right, so first of all, you're the one that does, you love to watch television.
Yes.
Eat bonbons.
Stay in my pajamas.
Stay in your pajamas.
Yes.
And buy shoes. You're a city girl.
Yes.
Your husband, quite the opposite. And how does he convince you to get in a bus and go cross country?
Honestly, I don't know. We're both psychiatrists, and this was his dream. He came home one day and just announced that he wanted to do this. And of course, I said, why can't you be like a normal husband in a midlife crisis and have an affair, buy a Corvette? And I informed him I will never, ever, ever live in a bus. Somehow he convinced me. Obviously, he's the better psychiatrist.
And is this a real converted bus, or is it a high-end RV?
No, it's a real 40-foot converted bus. At the very end, my last protest was, fine, if you insist on doing this, please don't make it a hippie bus, at least.
Now, so you take off on this cross-country adventure. Do you have an agenda? Do you have a schedule? Or are you just going to hit the road and go where it takes you?
That was one of the most marvelous things about it, because you can imagine, as psychiatrists, you know, you do college, you do medical school, you do residency, your lives are so regimented.
Right.
This was really the first time in our lives that we just took off, no agenda. We'd go where we wanted to go. If we liked a place, we'd stay longer. If we didn't, we'd just pick up and leave. That's the beauty of going around in a motorhome.
So what were some of the more unusual places you stopped to visit? At one time you visited a nudist RV park, right?
Yes, that was another one of my husband's harebrained schemes. You know, he may be a psychiatrist and aware of unconscious motivations, but he's still a regular guy, and regular guys want to go to nudist resorts. So I, of course, told him I would never, ever, ever, and then I realized, you know, what's the use?
Right.
I'm living on a bus. So we went, and I'll tell you, it was a wonderful experience. The people were very friendly. It's good to keep challenging yourself, to try new things, and that's part of what the whole trip did.
So did you sit around there naked, though, too, like the campfires and stuff? And
oh, not only that, but you haven't lived till you've tried naked karaoke.
Naked karaoke.
Wow,
put that on your bucket list.
Naked karaoke. What did you learn about yourself at the nudist camp as a psychiatrist? What was your epiphany about yourself?
Well, you know, my life was really happy before we left. I wasn't the one in the midlife crisis, but I think now, looking back, to be honest, it was very rote and routine. There was a certain lack of spark. I think it's really crucial, especially as we reach a certain age and we're where we want to get in our lives, to keep challenging ourselves, to keep doing new things. And even though we had all these great adventures in the bus, the misadventures like the fire, the flood, the armed robbery, and doing the nudist RV park were good. Yeah, we were in a burrito joint in Tucson. We'd gone to many times before when we lived there, and a robber came in with a gun. The girl screamed. We were the only patrons in the place, and that turned out actually also to be a really life-changing experience, because my husband protected me. I mean, I know he loves me. We all know our spouses love us, hopefully. But to actually see that in action, it was just an incredible experience. And then, especially for me, having been so materialistic, it really showed me again and again, as so many times in the bus did, that really what's important is being with the people you love. I know people say that all the time, but I don't think we really necessarily live that way.
There was one time you were at a hotel, and you wake up in the middle of the night thinking there's a cricket in the room.
Yes.
Tell that story, please.
Oh, okay. Well, actually, that was on my last book tour. I'm not a good sleeper, and I had about 4 hours to sleep. I'd just gotten in, and I hear a cricket. Cricket, cricket, cricket. So I'm all groggy, I'm disoriented. I call down to the desk and I say, there's a cricket in my room. They send somebody up. It's a nice hotel, there shouldn't be a cricket in the room. He comes in and I'm like on the bed, there's that cricket. He comes in and he looks up and he sees, oh, ma'am, look, it's the fire alarm. It sounds like a cricket when there's no battery,
that's right?
So he says, I'm just going to go change the battery. And I said, I have to get up in 2 hours, kill the cricket. but ma'am, it's the fire going, kill it, kill it. So he just
maybe the bus trip was necessary for him, after all. What about yourself personally? You're talking about how you had a bunch of shoes before you started. What did you learn about shoes?
I learned that, oh my gosh, and I still can't quite believe I'm saying this, that shoes really are not the important things in life. The trip was, I hear gasps. The trip was so life-changing, in fact, that my husband and I have decided we're going to be selling our house to live in the bus full time.
That's huge.
It is.
Are you giving up your practice? Or are you just you're just taking out? It's like Lost in America.
Well, we didn't lose all our money in Las Vegas,
Yeah, well, good for
fortunately.
you.
Yeah. We were careful about that. We'd seen the movie. But we did get our vows renewed on the bus with Elvis officiating in Las Vegas.
Fun!
So, yeah.
That's very fun.
Well, this is you know what a great idea, what a great book, and we're glad you came
so
by. Well, folks know you have a book signing tonight. Queen of the Road is a book tonight. Powell's, Cedar Hills Boulevard at 7 o'clock, and we've got the information too on our website at katu.com.
Thank you very
so much.
Thank you both so much for having me.
Happy trails, by the way.
Thank you.
All right, feminine.
Welcome back. If you've ever taken a road trip, you know what a zoo it can be. So imagine setting out across 47 states with 200 shoes, 3 animals, a husband, and a bus with a mind of its own. Well, joining me now is the author Doreen, who lived through all of that and survived to write the tale.
Yes.
First of all, what made you guys decide to do this?
Well, it was hardly my decision.
Oh, really?
No. My husband came home one day out of the blue and announced he wanted to chuck it all and travel the country in a converted bus for a year.
Wow.
So I asked, why can't you be like a normal husband in a midlife crisis and have an affair or buy a Corvette?
Oh, no, you would prefer that versus the year-long bus trip?
Yeah, because I might not have had to have known about the affair at least, but this I had to participate in for a year. We're both psychiatrists. He's obviously a much better shrink than I am because I agreed to do the trip.
Well, it's kind of funny because you're looking through the stories, and you said you've met some incredible people. Is there one that really stands out, one particular moment, or is there just so many?
There were really so many moments, and that's the wonderful thing about traveling this incredible country by motorhome. I mean, you can really see things that you might never get to see. I think one for me that really was a lesson in how important it is just to keep challenging yourself and to try new things was our visit to the nudist RV park.
Oh, now that was interesting. A nudist RV park.
Yes. Now, obviously, since my husband is a psychiatrist, he's aware of unconscious drives and motivations, but he is a typical guy, and typical guy want to go to nudist resorts. So I told him I would never, ever do it, and then I realized, what's the use? I'm living in a bus for a year. Obviously, this guy can persuade me to do anything.
Wow.
So we went.
Oh, here's some pictures of you guys going on the trip. Now, when I read through the book, you're kind of more like me. I would say I'm a spa girl. I like to be pampered. I'm not into hiking and all that. Did this kind of transform you? Because your husband is the hiker. He's the outdoorsy type, so you're very different.
Yeah, my husband calls me a princess from the island of Long.
Okay.
So I joke that my publisher gave me a promotion to Queen of the Road. You know what we learned is that the most important thing is to be with the person you love. And even in just 340 square feet, only wearing 3 shoes all year, with our 60-pound dog and 2 cats, we were happier than we've ever been.
Really? In that close?
It was amazing, yes. And so much so, this trip was so transforming for us.
Wow.
That we're actually going to be selling our house and living in the bus full time.
Really?
Yes.
Would you recommend, there you are with your dog, which, where is that picture taken?
That is on a mountain in gorgeous Sitka, Alaska. We went all the way up to Alaska, all the way over to Maine, down to Key West. It was just an incredible way to see the country.
Do you think we even realize how lucky we have it in our own backyard? You know, everyone travels to Europe or they travel here, but they don't realize all the great spots we have right here in our own country.
No, it's incredible. And Tim and I feel we could do the whole trip again for another year and never see the same thing again.
Wow.
We have amazing resources in this country, things to see, the diverse people. It's really incredible.
Okay, now the big question. Would you recommend this trip with children? You did it with the husband.
Yes.
What if you have children? I've heard people, my husband says he's always wanted to do this with our kids.
Yeah.
Yes, no?
I don't see why not. I mean, there's a reason we call it the Great American Road Trip. It's an incredible pastime. It's a wonderful way for families to be together and really get to know each other without having all the distractions of everyday life. And the beauty of going in a motorhome is you can go somewhere, if you love it, stay longer. If you don't, leave, go somewhere else.
Any advice for folks who maybe want to do this, just don't have the budget to take a whole year off work or travel? That is a pretty nice bus. I wouldn't call that a bad way to go. But any advice for folks who might want to do this themselves?
Yeah, you know, that's why I dedicate the book to anyone searching for his or her own inner bus. I really think we all have some bus thing that can help us understand what's important to us. It doesn't have to be as drastic as taking a whole year off. Just mix it up a little, do something different, find what's important to you and how to live your best life and live your dream.
Well, I think that's great. And I love the fact that you said it brought you closer than you've ever been.
Yes, absolutely. We were close before, but you know, living that way, you get to see things and know things about your spouse, even though we'd been together 15 years. And it was wonderful to see him doing new experiences and enjoying himself
Very,
like that.
very neat. Thanks for being here and sharing that with us.
Thank you.
And the book, of course, is called Queen of the Road, and you are now officially Queen of the Road, and you do it again.
Yes,
That's
yes,
good advice. And if you
you.
want the book, of course, it's on our website, or you can dial our hotline.